before the game, and I asked them to give me the name and some information on somebody involved in their program who goes above and beyond and yet gets very little credit for what they do. All those years that I was coaching, I always appreciated those extra people that did things. They don't want the credit. Sometimes we ask them to come on and do an interview and they don't. But again, it's really important to honor these people and give a tribute to them. We're going to start with Middlesboro Yellow Jackets first. Coach, the coach from Middlesboro gave me the names of 4 people. He said, "Do you mind if I give you 4 people?" I said, "No, not at all." So these people are the field and paint crew for Middlesboro High School. Scotty Moyers, David Bias, Rob Yoakum, and Pete Turnblazer. I'm going to say those names again. Moyers, Bias, Yoakum, and Turnblazer. These guys give their time each week to keep Lee Majors Field in great condition. Coach says they maintain and paint the field for both the high school and the middle school. They do all this stuff without asking for any money or any thank you at all. They work free of charge, and the big thing is that they're real proud of what they do in their work, and they do a perfect job. Coach Massengill and his entire staff, he wanted me to make sure I said this from he and his staff, that they really, really appreciate these guys. They're great fans of the program, and they do a super job. So congratulations to Scotty Moyers, David Bias, Rob Yoakum, and Pete Turnblazer. They're the UFO, Unheralded Football Overachiever from Middlesboro High School. When I went down and I talked to Coach Atchley before the game, talking about LCA's UFO, he mentioned the names that I'm familiar with, and I didn't realize he was here. Bob Rotherman.
Oh, Coach Rotherman, yeah, he's a gem.
Now we're not gonna talk about how old he is.
No,
that would give my age away. But we're gonna just say he's an old timer here. And he's been around the city. He's helped with a lot of programs. He actually helped me at Dunbar for a while.
Oh, did he?
His son played quarterback. His son was a decent quarterback, played at a couple of different places.
His son's over there. He's a police officer now. He's over on the sideline.
He's a police officer, and I've heard he does a great job getting involved in the community and everything. Mm-hmm. But Bob is he's an equipment manager here. But Coach actually said, really, he does what we call coach support. So he does a little bit of everything. He even, Coach Atchley said he even has done some chapel work here.
He does. He does some devotionals for our kids that they do every Friday morning. And he does in between. He'll pull kids aside and really talk to them if they're struggling in class or they're having this or that problem. Coach Rotherman's just he's just one of those people that's exactly why you create that kind of award.
Yeah, he's the type of person that he doesn't expect anything from it. He goes around and just does a super job everywhere. Okay, so congratulations to Coach Rotherman and all our UFOs, our unheralded football overachievers. We're going to take a minute here and we're going to interview a gentleman who I think I've known a little bit in the past, somebody that has done a great job over here, and we're going to cover a variety of subjects. We have a little time here. So we're going to start by Terry Johnson. Introduce a little bit about how you got here, where you've been in the past, how you got to the position you are now.
Well, I spent early part of my career, I spent in college athletics with the goal and dream of being a collegiate athletic director one day, and then got married to a good Pikeville girl who we started our family and decided we wanted to stay here. And so I've carved my career kind of out of where I wanted to live. And in college athletics, you kind of got to bounce around. And I've been blessed to do a number of things, World Equestrian Games, sports commissions, those kind of things. But then I got the opportunity. My kids have gone here at LCA since they were in kindergarten, and I have 2 boys, a sophomore and an 8th grader. And I got a call a few years ago about whether or not I'd be interested in this position as director of athletics. And I kind of felt it was God's way of really saying, you know what, you had the right idea. This is where I want you, and this is the timing, and I haven't looked back, and it's been an unbelievable experience so far.
You've done a wonderful job here, and this is a wonderful place to work. Tell me a little bit about the athletic programs here. We know a lot about the football program. We talked about that. Let's go into some of the other athletic programs.
Yeah, we have 20 athletic programs here, and cheerleading and dance as well, and we're very proud to say about 80% of our student athletes or our students at the high school level play at least one sport here, and that's part of the overall student experience. And in high school sports, it's why Prep Spin does what it does, is to celebrate these kids. That's what we try to do. So we're pretty all-encompassing for a 2A school. We've got a lot of sports. And we've had some successes, 11 state championships in 7 different sports over our now 26-year history. So we've been able to achieve at a high level in what is usually the toughest district in the state in most every sport. If not the toughest, it's among the toughest. So very wide-ranging.
Well, we've seen that all along. Your soccer teams do a really good job. Mm-hmm. Your volleyball team, basketball, exceptional. We talked a little bit about the basketball coach before.
Yeah, Coach Valentine. Yeah, we're our boys' basketball coach. He's trying to do some things that are firsts, and we're trying. Whenever you do firsts, this is the first 6-0 start in school history in football. That's always great. We got our last year we had 2 state champions. Our boys cross country and boys track and field were the KHSA state champions in single A. So we feel like we're breaking down some barriers. It's a lot of fun.
One of the things, and again, this is something that I've looked forward to talking about. I have a little prayer table in my family room where I'm retired now, and so during the day I do have time. I walk the dog, and I try to make every day that little special time. My time here at LCA, if you remember, I was here for 4 years coaching. I was part of that 2009 state championship team with Paul Raines and Curtis Cotton and a whole bunch of great guys, great coaches. One of the things that I noticed walking around, and I didn't teach, but I coached here, walking around the school, I noticed the above every door of every classroom, there's a Bible quotation, the prayer, the feeling, and it just makes me feel so good to come back here. I was always accepted. I'm a Catholic, and yet it was like I had a funny time. One person said to me, "Well, where do you go to church?" And I said, "St. Paul downtown." They said, "Oh." My brother was Catholic, but he's Christian now. And I got a big kick out of that, too, because
one and the same.
One and the same. But anyway, I have looked forward to this opportunity, Terry. Tell me a little bit about the Christian aspect of how the athletic department connects to that, a little bit about chapel and so on.
Well, it's one of the unique aspects of our school, and we're thrilled to be able to provide a Christian atmosphere for these student athletes. We feel like it's obviously very important, our biblical worldview here at the school, that you get an opportunity. It's been liberating for me, to be honest with you. I've never worked in a Christian setting, and being able to be in a Christian setting, I'm able to share my faith openly, freely, and encouraged to do so, and that's a unique feeling for a Christian. And the kids, they have Bible classes every day. They are in chapel once a week. But also in our sports programs, we encourage and do a lot of devotionals. We do a lot of things to try to integrate our faith with the programs. And sometimes that's a difficult line, because competition, some people feel like, humility, being meek, and the traits and characteristics that Christ teaches us may be contradictory to athletics in competition. And that's not the case. And in fact, Christ calls us, as you know, to use his gifts to the best of our ability, to him be the glory. And so we try to instill that in our kids, that our goal is to go out and compete very hard, use the gifts God's giving you, and win or lose, you're giving glory to God for what he's done for you. And that's, but it also means we want to win. We want to compete. We're going to compete to win. We're going to compete, and when you play us, you're going to know you played somebody, as Clay Elliott's block on that 2-point conversion showed. However, we want to show a different way, because if we win or lose in the same way everybody else does, then we're not showing anything different. And it's tougher. I like to tell our coaches, when I interview our coaches that are coming here, it's a little bit tougher to coach here. You know why? Because we're held to a standard, because quite honestly and candidly, the world wants to call us hypocrites in the first place, right? And Christians are not perfect. There's no need to remind people of that. However, it's actually the antithesis of that. It is understanding that we all are all broken and need Christ's forgiveness. It's so liberating and wonderful in this day and age, and the way the culture is now, that we can work with our student athletes. And I'm proud of all of our coaches and how they do devotionals themselves, how they bring in FCA or other folks to come in and do devotionals, that they really teach their faith in a athletic framework in a way that the kids can understand. And we're not perfect, and we have our flaws like everybody else. But it's very liberating and exciting to be able to share the Word of God with these kids openly and freely.
Well, and also, yes, you're absolutely correct. And one of the things I noticed when I first started coaching here, I coached 30 years in public school, and I went to public school my whole life. The first year with Coach Raines here, we went on a leadership camp early before the season started, and it was one of those things where you climb ropes and you jump off of this and you do this and do that, and I got a big kick out of that. Well, he assigned jobs to all of us, and my job was to teach a leadership class. And I said, well, do you want me to do that first thing in the morning? And he said, no, first thing in the morning is Bible study.
Yep.
And I just stopped and thought for a second, you know what? I like us here. This is a good
Yeah.
place to be. And again, the kids, they had good questions, and we tried to tie all that together. In the Christian lifestyle, leadership is extremely important.
There's no question about it, because we're called to be disciples, and we're called to share our faith and to always love one another and withhold that judgment, but stand by your faith and your principles. And that's, like, as I said, I keep using the word liberating. It's liberating as a Christian to be able to work in that kind of environment and have kids that are ready to hear it, and parents that support it. And again, we have our flaws like everybody else, but we're certainly not a perfect place, but we're pretty proud of what we have here.
Yeah. You have parents that do yell at the officials, like a lot of parents
Do we?
do.
I never hear from them. I don't. I'm just kidding. Yeah, yes, we do.
Well, listen, they're about ready to start this second half here in just a couple minutes. So I just want to thank you for coming and talking to us. And again, it gave me an opportunity to express some feelings that I've had that I can't do at other venues. I appreciate PrepSpin and Greer and Maggard, all the people that sponsor this wonderful situation here where we can do these HD quality games on the air.
And I want to thank PrepSpin and White, Greer, and Maggard, especially all the sponsors that make it happen. But White, Greer, and Maggard has stepped up in such a huge way. They support not only LCA separately from what they do with PrepSpin, but they support so many of the schools around and really are a great community citizen. And Greg White and his partners are wonderful. But PrepSpin, you all are providing a service that I know people who are watching all over the country, maybe holed up in a hotel down south.
Yeah.
It's fall break, and a number of people had their vacations curtailed. But PrepSpin's providing such a great service in highlighting these young men and women.
Well, last week we did a game. We had 12 different states watching, and Afghanistan. Somebody
That's
from
awesome.
Afghanistan. So,
That's
again,
awesome.
thank you a lot, Terry. I appreciate
Thank
it very
you.
much. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back right after a few messages. This is the White, Greer, Maggard Game of the Week, brought to you by PrepSpin Digital Network, the #1 digital network in the state of Kentucky. We'll be right back.